morning. Welcome to B to Z. It's Monday, 10:27, 56 degrees, and the freeways are flowing. We wanted to start with a little bit of feedback from the last few episodes. You know, we've been testing and trying to smooth things out so we can get a nice flow for the podcast, and we took some feedback from friends and family, and you know, we appreciate that too. So we always want that feedback. So whenever you get an opportunity to argue, like something, have an opinion, man, please express it to us because we love that. So some of the feedback we got was, you know, be funnier more often and stuff like that. And we're gonna try to be, you know, as long as it's not like every other podcast, it's got to be genuine. You know, I definitely don't want you guys to know my fake laugh. You know what I mean? Because then you're going to know, like, oh, that's his fake laugh, you know, when you get appointments and whatnot. But we'll try, as long as it's authentic and there's something funny. You know what I mean? Like, neither one of us are comedians, but we're funny. You know what I mean? I find myself very funny on certain topics. So just wait for that and be patient. You know, we are trying to deliver a little bit of something as well. You know, I do have Zach here with me today, Mr. Batista. You know what I'm saying?
Good morning.
I forgot to bring my co-host in, but he's always here with me, man. If you hear me on the mic, you know that he's here with me. And we could edit that into the front. So welcome, Zach.
Yeah, good morning. So to continue with the initial feedback, the initial reactions I got, sound was a big one, and I know you and my conversation in the beginning was let's let it roll. We're sitting right up against the 91 freeway. I don't know if everyone knows that or not. 91 freeway in Southern California, by the Tyler Street exit. We're recording at Brandon's shop.
Yeah, in my studio.
In his studio, yeah.
And there is we're right next to the freeway, big old panoramic windows. I call it the urban river. Everybody going to do their thing.
And we didn't want to take away from that ambiance. In the beginning, we may tweak some things and see how it goes. See, maybe this episode, our sound quality already will improve.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let us know what you think about that.
But it is noted that we are working on the sound so that you guys can hear every bit of our voices and it comes off very clear and whatnot.
And then I'll go into kind of a mini rant, if you'll let me.
Oh yeah, go into a mini rant.
So, a question I was asked was, what are you guys all about? Are you guys just gonna sit here and just bullshit the whole time?
Mm-hmm.
So, I wanna give our statement, what we're all about,
mm-hmm.
what we're trying to do. We're two guys just trying to deliver our message as we see through our lives.
Mm-hmm.
We come from two different backgrounds, but we share a lot of similarities.
Right.
We're for everyone. We're for the blue collar worker that's been working for 10 years at the job. We're for the guy that just got hired day one.
Yeah, and it's gonna be a little bit of everything. But if you see it as bullshit, man, there's a lot of other podcasts that you could probably really enjoy that are not bullshit for you. So yeah, there are gonna be some bullshit perspectives as well. You know what I'm saying? Not to say that that's one, but everybody has an acquired taste. You know, it is a little bit blue collar, but man, it's a little bit of everything. It's not that, oh, what is it? I'm not here to give you one specific thing. I'm here to give you something to think about at the end of the day. So if you leave here and you don't have something to think about, then I failed you, you know. But as far as that direction, I'm not a therapist. You know what I'm saying? Zach was asking me that question. You know, I jumped on it a little earlier. But I'm not a therapist, you know what I mean? And I don't want to be held accountable for that, you know? Just it's like I'm your homie giving you good advice, okay?
I like to think I thought of this morning. I like to think we're E for everyone, but we're also E for fucking explicit. So
shit.
So kind of watch who you're listening to this around. If you got it on speaker, there might be some things coming out of left field.
Oh yeah.
Just based on what our topic is of the day.
Yeah, I like that one. Yep, it is not PC, So, and these are my opinions and his opinions. You guys have some fucked up opinions too. Don't act like you don't. So when we go off and we are truthful and honest and transparent, don't try and crucify us. You know what I mean? Just trying to understand our perspective on situations rather than turn into a little bitch and just start complaining.
I am grateful for all the feedback though, as well as the listens. This morning we were at 67 downloads, and I'm grateful. I'm really excited for that so far because we launched on Friday, so we just had it going over the weekend. And if you're not following our Instagram or Facebook, it's at BTO2Z podcast. And again, we'd love to follow, like, share.
What formats are we on right now? What
for the podcast?
Yeah, where can you find us?
Oh, so we're also listed. So I'm using for our main site. It's called Buzzsprout.
Shout out.
Yeah, shout out. And I read a lot of different reviews on how to start a podcast. Again, we've never done this before, so bear with us and give us, please give us the comments. But I'm using Buzzsprout, and they very easily let us put our podcast on all the different platforms. So right now we're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, Podcast Index, YouTube. I just got YouTube up and running. iHeartRadio, Podcast Addict, Podchaser, Pocket Cast, Deezer, Listen Notes, and Player FM. Yeah. As well as our site.
Yeah. So back to that feedback. I wanted to bring up one more thing, and yes, we appreciate that opinion as far as like what are we? We're developing. Is what we are. We're developing. We're not trying to be one thing. We're trying to be several things, and we're not doing this to be seen in a certain light, like, oh, they are therapists, or they are this, or they are that. Like, man, we're what you think we are. You know what I mean? Like, so that's the answer to that. One more piece of feedback, and thank you for that piece of feedback, whoever that came from. One more piece of feedback was from my son, which I thought was funny. I played it for him in the car on the way home. And he was dying. He was laughing. I guess I had a little funny laugh in there or something like that. And he was just rolling.
He was clowning on you? Or
yeah,
what?
he was clowning. He was clowning. So that's cool. I'll be a fool at his little expense, and just to hear him laugh. So I love that, just to hear him laugh. But he said we should have a script, and that he wanted to try to write one of the scripts. So we'll let you know when that happens too. We'll let you know what his framing is and when that happens and how it sounds too. I think that'll be a cool little experiment. Like, oh yeah, this is the one that Miles wrote. You know what I mean? Shout out to you, Miles. Thank you for your feedback.
So wrapping that up, we'd like to put out this podcast weekly. We'd like to center it around mental health, but we're going to go off on tangents. Another one quick shout out, just because I have it up. I've been using Adobe Audition for our mixing. I've been learning how to use that, and I've been burning through a bunch of YouTube tutorials. Gotta love YouTube tutorials.
Yeah,
it's not like looking at in the encyclopedia or anything.
I like the tutorials, but the rewinding and all of that,
crucial.
Bruh, yeah, crucial. That's annoying.
So Mike Murphy, was one author I was listening to on there, and then Mike Russell. That was another one on there. I'll post those on our Instagram later this week as well.
Right.
But shout out to those guys, man.
It's because of you.
Yeah,
guys. It's because of you.
In 2 weeks, I learned how to do this. So
yeah.
So
keep putting that good shit out there.
Yeah, appreciate everyone's patience.
So bring us in, Zach.
All right, so let's get back to that. I like where we're at in the therapist. So I've heard a lot that tattooing is therapy. Tattooing is like a therapy.
Tattoo therapy.
And I myself, and being, what would you say, about 75% covered?
Yeah. I would say more than that.
Maybe a little more. Maybe
yeah, 80%.
But it's a therapy to me.
Yeah.
I've tried, so throughout the past several years, I've tried all kinds of different therapy.
Mm-hmm.
But what would you say to people that say, you know what,
tattoo therapy is, I do think it is a type of therapy for somebody, the clientele receiving them, and for the artist sometimes too, you know.
But you're not therapists.
But we're not therapists, you know. People come in and they get tattoos sometimes for grief, sometimes to be seen, sometimes because they're need to be. They're pushing that life a little bit. You know, they want to look different. They want to be seen in a different fashion. They want to have a statement. It's a statement thing in life. You know what I mean? It's and I really enjoy that aspect of it too. You know, people getting a tattoo for their loved one who passed, or they're just people getting tattoos because it looks dope and honoring the aspects of culture and art and continuing to keep the tattoo ball rolling. That's dope. But it is definitely a statement within your life where it's just like, yeah, this is a permanent thing that I'm doing. That will last forever from this date, and I will remember it. That's why it's a good thing to, you know, be wise and not be. It's not a fix, you know. It's just you know, it's like a little drink or something after you had a hard day. You know what I'm saying? But it's a bigger drink. You know what I mean? It's an endorphin release. You know, you come to us, you sit down, there's anticipation, there's the setup, and there's a battle of will within your mentality. And depending on what kind of piece you're getting, and whether it be a small one or a large one, there's a bit of pain that comes with it too. And that's where people, you know, that pain either takes you away for a minute and allows you to think about something differently. Offers, maybe your husband told you can't get no tattoos, and you know you now divorced and you want to get some tattoos, like, and you feel like, you know, you've been released and it's that piece of freedom. Like, that's dope to me. I'm like, yeah, come get that shit. You know, you should have never let him, you know, choose for you in the first place. But now, you know, you're rewriting something, and that's dope. It's a statement. Like, I'm taking my shit. I'm in control of my life. It's going against the status quo as well, you know? It's not just fucking lighting a candle and sending it down the stream. It's a little bit heavier than that, you know what I mean? And nothing, no disrespect to any of the ritualistic shits out there, you know? Like, but I had a client one time, you know, her husband had a horrific accident, off-road accident, and passed away. And I had, you know, spoke to her several times over, and you know, they were having problems and they were working on things, and then boom, just one day he was gone. And you know, I doubt that she will ever hear this, so I feel okay, you know what I mean, speaking on this. She wanted to get the bruises tattooed on her that she had suffered from the accident. And I didn't do it. I was like, nah, because I didn't want to use the tattoo to be a constant reminder of one of her most traumatic days. And so, as a tattoo artist, you also have a responsibility as well as not to overstep. You know what I mean? Like, someone having a bad day tries to come in and get a little bit of tattoo therapy, and they want, man, fuck everything on their forehead. You know what I mean? Are you really gonna do that shit? Like, come on, man. Is this motherfucker having a bad day? As a tattoo artist, you have a responsibility to not push people over the edge, or to do things in a fashion where it's gonna be obtrusive to their lifestyle after they're done with you. You know? So it's important. It's important to be mindful. And tattooers know that. That's part of an apprenticeship. You know, if you didn't get an apprenticeship, that's that shit you're missing. You know what I mean? Yeah, there's certain tattoo artists that are like, yeah, I'm going to tattoo him on the face. That's a client for life. You know what I'm saying? But if you're young and you ain't got no tattoos and then that's not something that I think that you should do or that I'm gonna be a part of. I had an experience where this youngster wanted to get a tattoo on her face, and she was like pushing me. Walk-in tattoo. I'm working at another shop, and I ran it around the shop to the other artists to ask their perspective. Some were in, some were out. Some were like, "Fuck it," that's her decision. And I ended up doing it, and I felt good about it. The tattoo looked good. I'll post a picture of that tattoo so you guys can see it. And at the end of it, the pressure of going up to getting the face tattoo was a big deal. But as soon as we finished the tattoo and it was all done, like, it really wasn't that big of a deal. It wasn't. So, yeah, I don't know why I ended that story like that, but yeah, it wasn't that big of a deal at the end of the day. It's people that make it a big deal. Nobody cares if your fucking one of your fucking fingernails is too long and it's not gonna destroy somebody's universe. So why the fuck would they care about your face tattoo or a pimple on your face? It's just society's fucking stance on that shit. But I'm going way into something.
That's okay, and different. I like the way you filter that out.
Yeah,
and that's what you have to do as the artist. Now, a couple different things. I always considered you, since the time I met you, a professional artist.
Mm-hmm. I appreciate that.
When did that click for you? When did you consider yourself a professional artist or a professional tattoo artist?
I consider myself a professional when I stopped having to worry about the basics of tattooing, when my gradients were nice and smooth. There were no chatter marks in them. My line work was saturated all the way through, and the edges were clean on both sides. And I was able to draw the techniques that I was once before tracing. So once I got to the point where I could draw a dragon and I was drawing things onto skin, and if I was losing a stencil, I could just grab a Sharpie and put those elements back in. And I still use a very strong stencil just because I believe in going in at as much as I possibly can, like setting myself up for success as I try and eliminate all the bullshit in the homework before the tattoo. But yeah. Did I answer that?
You answered it perfectly.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So when I was considering asking you the question, if you consider yourself a therapist or not, I was bearing the likeness from my time in therapy. So for me, it took a breakdown for me to start going to therapy.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully people can catch that they're slipping before they ask for help.
Man,
I'm sure we'll have a whole episode on that. But I was considering that because I felt so, and I already had tattoos, so I wasn't scared of getting tattoos.
Mm-hmm.
But I felt vulnerable going in to therapy. Since we brought up bringing in some new people, some new, not only guests, but people to get tattooed by you. And we were kind of talking about how vulnerable they are getting that tattoo. So that was the likeness that I considered, was the two are very much the same.
Mm-hmm.
And they're trusting this tattoo, this art to you. You're in a very, depending on where that tattoo's at, you'd be sitting wide open. And as many times as I've gotten tattooed by you, sometimes I felt more vulnerable than others. I even fell asleep a couple times. Mm-hmm. And some people say, yeah, they have that ability to zone out and fall asleep.
Yeah, which is cool.
And I told you, I said I was for the comfort that I felt so comfortable with you that day and the position I was in. So that's why I bear the likeness.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my piece on it.
Yeah. Going to sleep in a tattoo is like, falling asleep in a car when somebody else is driving. You really got to trust them and what it is that they're doing. I'm not falling asleep in anybody's car, period. You know what I mean? Unless I've sat with you for a few times, because I know that you're not crazy. You know what I mean? And I can trust you. Yeah. I posted that picture too of the face tat, so go ahead and check that out. B May Inc. Studios. No, at B May Inc. There you go on Instagram, and it should be up on the Instagram for the podcast too. As a matter of fact, go follow that. Go follow the podcast at what is it, Zach?
B2Z podcast.
Boom. There you go, guys. There was one more story that I was thinking that I wanted to bring up real quick as far as like trauma within it. And then I was thinking, but I was trying to listen, but I might be gone. Trauma within. Okay. So it could be generational. You know, you as a tattoo artist, you tattoo families. You know, it's a really weird relationship that you have into people's lives because they trust you. They bring you into their secrets and all of the things that make them, because they want you to create for them. So they give you themselves, it's like, and then they offer you transparency in this honest relationship because they want to trust you and they don't want to fucking piss you off. They don't like, you're my artist, dude. Like, you cool. There's a little bit of coolness to it, which is the same for artists too. Like, as a tattoo artist, we feel the same way about other artists. Like, damn, that motherfucker is cool. It's like, fuck. And that's why we go get their art as well. So it's not just from a client's perspective, like, and tattooers use it for trauma as well. We were once clients at one point, and then we became tattooers. Some of us will say we were born tattooers, and yeah, you were probably born in tattoo lineage. My kids will be born in tattoo lineage and stuff like that. But until they do an apprenticeship, they're not tattooers. You know what I mean? And until they put their time in, they're not tattooers. Trauma, though. Yeah, it's a good one. I feel like when people come in and, a lot of it is relationship stuff and they want, like, they want a name, like, oh, I fucked up. I want to get my girlfriend's name and stuff like that. And they want to put it on their chest. I won't do it. I'm like, hell nah, bro. Like, Like, you flag, simping. Right? Nah, yeah, well, like, you pushing me to do some dumb shit with you. You know what I mean? And I don't want to do it. I don't want to be a part of this. Like, I'm an accessory to this whack shit that you bringing me into. And I'm not a fan of that shit. Like, we over here doing stupid shit on behalf of your lady who probably tripping for no reason. Like, I would love to take your money. But God dang, I got integrity as far as that stuff. Or maybe it's not integrity. It's just my, like, habits of, like, it's like, what does this do? Oh, you want to put it on his chest? Like, you tripping, Like, put it somewhere else where you could hide it. Like, I don't know. I feel like certain places on the body have a different weight to me. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's just like you don't get a kid's portrait on your ass. I got my son. Where'd you put it? I put it on my ass. Like, why don't you put it on your ass? Because that's kind of rude. You know what I mean? Like, that's fucked up.
Just like we discussed with, I have a Simpsons leg sleeve that Brandon is currently working on. Mm-hmm. We have one borderline one. I would say it's Marge in a beer mug. She's in a swimsuit, so totally covered. We thought about that a lot going into it. He wanted to make it all least trashy as possible.
Yes,
it just seems that we remembered.
I feel like when you're doing cartoons, making them overly sexual is kind of weird, man. You know what I mean? It's like, man, you got to be tasteful with the things that you do. They either got to look like adults, like you got to draw them a little bit out of the cartoon stage, unless you're fucking doing traditional and you're just a fucking kook and you're doing odd shit.
Or unless it is on your butt, right? Like, it's on your butt, nobody's seeing all the time.
It should look a little weird if it's on your butt, you know what I mean? Just because I feel like that's
a weird spot.
You could go off a little bit, like some titties or some shit like that, You can go up a little bit on the butt.
But me, like, he knows, I wear shorts all the time. Yeah. My legs are constantly being seen.
And I don't want people looking at him like he's a creep, man. Yeah. Like, it's got, yes, we could do the things we need to do, but and I see some cool ass tattoos out there, like the Trippy Bart, and those are sick, they're dope. But for what it is that I'm trying to portray upon my people, and that's why it's important to know your people, so you don't give them something that's out of their realm or something that they won't be proud of. I always think about where the person is headed, and then I draw too. You know, like when they old as hell, like I still don't want them to enjoy this tattoo. I don't want them to look at it like, oh man, I got this when I was blah blah blah. You know, I want them to be like, yeah, that shit's still tight. Yeah, that's dope, right? Yeah, look at this shit. Look at that panther right there, boy. You know, put him in a headlock. Get over here, motherfucker. You know, shit like that.
So
where we at?
like,
What's our topic?
I think we're at roundup. I think we're at roundup time.
I know we was talking about reiterating topics, but how many minutes are we at right now?
So we're at, and again, I'll put that out there for all the listeners. We're at 25 minutes, just so you know.
Okay.
I may or may not edit that out, just so you know, because I like the sweet spot we're at right now. 20 to 40 minutes.
Okay.
I feel like people aren't going to get sick of us, or we're beating a dead horse. I don't want to beat a topic to death.
Well, I want to hear more from you, man. I feel like I was talking the whole time.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. I'll bring up the quote then.
Oh, you felt that way too?
I got the quote.
Yeah, he's like, I felt that way too, motherfucker. Like, shut up.
I'm glad you said it. I want to introduce the quote.
Go ahead.
One of my nieces is working on a school project, and Queen Elizabeth is her topic, and she was telling me a bunch of facts about Winston Churchill. I got a quote from Winston Churchill. It goes, "Success is stumbling from failure to failure with no loss of enthusiasm." How do you feel about that?
Success is stumbling from failure to failure with no loss of what?
Enthusiasm.
Success is stumbling from failure. Yeah. Yes. He said success is? I mean, shit, that's a good one, but I need to see results. You know, like, I'm not just going to keep stumbling from one thing to the next, talking about, no, I'm successful. Like, no, I got to see results. Yes, maybe I made it out of it, and I'm able to have another try at it, and that's where the success is like, because it does come at weights. I've tried several different businesses, and with the idea of, you know, being an entrepreneur, like 100%, like let me try this, you know? Like, I know you guys think about that shit too, you know, and you gotta try it. You can't just let it be an idea. Just like this podcast. Like, it could have been an idea, and you're seeing two dudes try it right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, not trying to toot our own horn or anything, but
man.
But I will say, I asked him this question yesterday. Brandon gave me a call. I said, "Hey, how many podcasters do you know personally?"
Yeah.
What'd you say?
None. Personally, that I know that's like, oh yeah, I do podcasts. I don't.
I know a lot of people that
not a one
that have given me said that they're going to try something like that.
Yeah.
But I don't know anybody. We hit the both of us like racing. Formula One for you.
Oh yeah. Formula One, dirt bikes,
more NASCAR for me. I'm gas pedal, man. Yeah, and we went off an idea. So give us feedback, give us a follow. And let us know what you think. Anything else to send us off with, Brennan?
Yeah, just keep being successful out there, guys. You know, from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next. Don't get too caught up on this life stuff that you're going through. Remember to be human, and tomorrow will be a good day if you're having a bad day. Chin up, chest out.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening. This is Brandon and Zach.